By collectors for collectors just got even better. MySlabs.com is proud to now feature dedicated sections for both raw cards and raw comic books. Browse over 100,000 slab collectibles, authenticated by the industry's most trusted grading companies. Then check out a massive selection of sealed wax and now raw singles and raw lots. Join a passionate, no-nonsense community of nearly 50,000 members and enjoy some of the best buyer and seller protection in the business. And as always, MySlabs offers one of the most disruptive pricing models in the hobby, with seller fees as low as only 1%. So the next time you're forced to pay 10%, 20%, or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabs.com, the low-fee marketplace, by collectors, for collectors.
What's up, everyone? You know what night it is. Wednesday nights, off-centered, with Dustin, the sports card dad, the artist formerly known as the personal finance dad, and about 296 people know him as Retro Game Dad, which was a station he started a couple months ago and then completely just left in the dust. So let's bring him on in a second. But tonight we got a lot of topics. We got Zerocool's second product. We have a big burglary, which we have to at least mention in case there's someone out there with a tip, at Mamba Cards, which if you didn't see that yesterday or the day before, massive burglary. But we do want to show how we can support one another and support other card shops and people that are victims of theft. So that'll be big. And we got Logan Paul entering the space with his own platform. So we got a couple big things. I can't wait. It's going to be a fun episode, just me and Dustin. And y'all already know the drill. Welcome back. Now let's get to work. Let's bring on Sports Card Dad. Sports Card Dad, what's up?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Life is good. It's been hot here. It's been about
really?
90, 92 degrees today. So pretty warm day. What about you?
I thought LA was like 75 year round. I thought that was the whole point.
Yeah, it's one of those things where once in a while we have warmer than ideal weather, and so we all complain. It's like when it rains, we all complain because it's 4 days of the year. When it's 90 degrees in spring, we complain as well. But anyway,
it's good. Yeah, it's good here. I mean, it's 75 here, so it's all good. But it's about to get blazing. It's about to get blazing.
Hey man, I'll take hot over cold any day. We got Samir in the house. That's a great picture, Samir. I love it.
It's a fitted suit.
Yeah, well, I know something you don't know about.
No. Actually, my friend, my father-in-law is in Florence, Italy, and I have some rad suits. I've got nice suits. I've got European fitted suits. Yeah, there's no Joseph A. Bank over here, my friend.
Not buy one suit, get 19 sweater vests for free type of thing.
Have you seen that SNL skit where they're using the Joseph A. Bank suits as towels and stuff because they're so cheap?
No, I didn't.
I'll send it to you. It's good.
All right. And yeah, you guys have not seen either of us dress up. We're as casual as can be, but I dress up nice. I guess Dustin does too. That's what we should do is one night you actually dress up. Like we actually dress up. Maybe it's at a card show or we go out for dinner, like when we're big shots in the space versus just like little peasants, YouTube peasants.
We'll see. I'm down.
Sounds good. We had a good week, though. We had a good week. We had some good stuff happening this week. Great to see you, Troy. Always in the house. Stephen Ryan's here as well. What is up, Corey? All the usuals are here. This is great. Mike C. Yeah, appreciate it, man. We might talk a bit about Card Life later, but it will be something that comes out tomorrow officially on YouTube. But I'm very excited about what I'm doing or what I'm trying to create alongside of all of you and the impact it can have. So let's say hi to a couple more people here. Michael Stone.
Michael Hand in the house.
Michael J. Hout. Let's see. Jeff Walsh. Time for my favorite time of the week. You guys are awesome. Let's get ready to rum. Had to stop before I find one. Oh, yeah. You don't want to do that. Good to see you, Philly Joe. Okay, so anyway, we got lots to talk about. Where do you want to start, man? We got news. We got personal stuff. Where would you like to start?
Why don't we start with the personal stuff first? Let's go there. Let's go there. Well, actually, do card life first, and then we'll roll into the other thing.
Okay, so real quick, and the video will drop tomorrow, but over the last couple of months, and great to see you, El Duderino, all the way from Australia. Look, ever since I got back into cards, I did this for connection. I did this to connect to my inner kid, and then I wanted to connect during COVID, and that was the highlight of it. And then after 2 years of being on YouTube, you see this all the time. People comment hey, I'm looking to launch my art business. I'm looking to do this. I'm looking to start a YouTube station. People are looking for help in other areas. And, I feel like when you have a platform, you could look at all the pieces and say, well, this person would probably be helpful for this person. This person's looking for this. And so I decided, why is there not a directory? Why is there not one community that serves as a directory? And I guess, community, or like a platform for people in the hobby to connect with one another for their own professional and personal reasons. Because there are people that are looking to get accountability in other areas of life, people that are looking to lose weight, people that are looking to start businesses, people that are looking to sell homes. Maybe they're a realtor and they're like, hey, I was in a fraternity, and the alumni association kind of gives you this advantage, this unfair advantage, because there's this commonality. I'm like, well, when you talk to anyone about cards, when they're in the hobby, when you find out they're in the hobby, this is like the easiest thing in the world to bond over and then go deeper on. So I was like, hey, why not use the fact that we're into cards to go deeper and see if there's other ways to help one another out.
That's a good point. Cards are a great icebreaker. You immediately have connection with somebody, about something within the hobby, and cards can be that in. Yeah, I agree. So it is. It's kind of like a dating site. It's a hinge.
I would say it's a community. It's not like swipe left, swipe right. Ooh, no thanks. It's definitely a community, but it's on a platform that's way better than what I found with Instagram, Reddit, and it's only for people that are interested in going deeper than cards. And that's not everyone, but that's something I want to build and help people with. So we'll stop it there, just because the video is going to come out tomorrow, and we got other news. We had a good week. So why don't you tell them about the other stuff that happened? And that's next week, Troy. Hinge Life is next week.
Yeah, we're fusing all the things together. Yeah, that's it. If you mean the podcast, we are starting our fresh new podcast. We're really, really excited about it. We're teaming up with a big time podcast guy that Brad has made friends with, and he's great. And so we're excited about kind of that new audience, extra reach. We're going to have a whole new show around it, a couple of new shows probably. And so we've always operated on the YouTube side, and there's that whole podcast world over there that, whole separate audience in a lot of cases. So we are excited to kind of branch over to that as well. I don't know if you want to add anything else to it, but I'm pumped.
I'm excited because Dustin's going to be producing it. So he's going to be doing a lot of the work. I'm going to be shooting at SoFi Stadium, which is an incredible stadium. So I get to go there probably once a week and shoot it. And I don't have to do the editing. So that's it there. And then we also had
post-production work. That's something Brad and I are like, wait a second, we don't have to do any of the extra stuff, all the usual stuff? Nope.
Yeah. So that's exciting. So the first episode, the test episode, will be next week, but stay tuned for the actual launch of it. And that will be podcast and video form. Also, we had a great meeting with some of Sports Cards Nonsense's people. They're working on some big things as well. So shout out to Sports Cards Nonsense, some of the best personalities and guys in the hobby. And they're doing some pretty big things outside of just their podcast. So we had a great meeting there.
Yeah. And honestly, like Mike and Jesse are great. They do their content. It's not exactly like ours, but we gel with them. We really kind of like the goofy, the more, the lighter side of hobby content. We really enjoy that. So those guys, we mix well with those guys.
Well, it's almost like cards should be fun.
Wait, what?
It's almost like I know. Like, stay with me here. It's almost like people get into this hobby because hobbies are things that they enjoy. Does that make sense? Are you with me on that one?
I don't know if that's right. I think it needs to be a lot more serious.
Probably not. Yeah, probably. Anyway, so that's good for us. And then let's talk about what's going on in the hobby, unless there's anything else. We can
seg off. Yeah, that's a good starting point, I think. That's a good starting point. Let's talk about Mamba Breaks first, because I think I have this right. We were supposed to have Mamba Breaks on our channel, on Off-Centered, over the next couple of weeks. And then this happened. I think we're still going to have her on, but this is news to me. You had found this yesterday, right?
Are you talking about the burglary?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to spend too much time on here, but there was a burglary. Let me see if I can. You can see all this, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this was at Mamba Cards in Southern California. And if you haven't seen this on Instagram, a couple of guys, and I'm only sharing this really so that the word gets out and any tips, any leads can be shared with authorities. But you have two guys in here, and
but wait, is this Mamba Breaks or Mamba Cards? Two different.
This is Mamba Cards. Mamba Breaks is different.
Oh, okay. I thought this was Mamba Breaks that had the burglary.
Mama, not Mamba.
No. I know, but I thought, I got mixed up. Okay, so not Mamba Breaks, it's Mamba Cards. Got it.
We did see Mamba Breaks, Stephanie, in Mint, and she's super lovely in person, and we're gonna have her on in the future. But one thing I want to point out is, if you go to Mamba Cards on Instagram, and if you notice or recognize any of these guys, they were also speaking a language I don't recognize. Definitely wasn't Spanish. It wasn't anything like that. It was. I don't want to speculate on the language. It just wasn't something I recognized. So if that helps at all, definitely just report it to, I guess, the authorities or anyone, or to Mamba Cards as well. But just wanted to share that. And I also saw that both, I think Cage Lawyer had mentioned that he's going to put up $1,000 reward for anything that leads to the arrest of them. So I thought that was kind of cool that you have some people in the hobby that might be doing really well. And then Jeff Wilson seconded that on his Instagram. But anyone in the hobby that has that extra money.
Amazing surveillance camera work. I mean, it's like right there. If they weren't, I mean, they're masked up pretty well, but I mean, it's all there. I mean, that's kind of crazy. And I met Cage at Mint Collective. I'd never met him before, and he's a good guy. He's a nice guy. I like meeting him.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm Troy. I'm sorry, man. I wish there was someone in the house that could give you personal finance knowledge, but we don't.
Yeah. Okay. Or was it finance or fiace? Finance? Grammar, please.
Finake. No personal finakes.
Michael asked who our MLB teams are. Michael, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not a baseball guy, so I'm not gonna pretend like I'm not gonna pull a team out of my butt. But yeah, I'm not really a baseball guy. Are you a Rays fan?
Where is it? Where's the question at?
It was at like 908.
908. So 608.
Yeah.
You guys get the star treatment. I like that. There we go. Yeah. I'm like, I want the Rays to win, but when they were in the World Series against LA just 2 seasons ago, I was planning on watching, and I couldn't even watch an entire game. I was like, you know what? I'd rather just go for a walk. So my attention span is just too short. And even though I want them to win, I don't put in any effort. I can't really watch it. I need some like booby traps in the outfield. I need something like, you know what I mean? Like, can't home field advantage in baseball mean, okay, we know that in left field, there's like a pit, like a tar pit. And then in right field, there's like a sand pit and all the, like tripwires, stuff like that.
Yeah, at least in Tampa, it's a lot of people complain like it's inside a tent. It's in like like a carnival tent, but it's hot in Florida. Like I would not want to sit at a game in Tampa in the summer. So I'm perfectly fine sitting in a 75-degree tent.
Yeah, I mean, they might move the team. They always talk about that. The stadium's a disaster. Jeff, yeah.
How many of the million cards that PSA's done this month were yours, Brad?
This month? I think. Well, I did get another submission back earlier. That's like a 210. I haven't opened it. So I brought it to Mint Collective to open with you, and we just didn't have time to do a dual PSA reveal because it just would have taken too much time. The logistics with lighting and how do we get a camera on both of us, all that would have been too tough. So I still haven't opened those cards. And this is what I realized too, is I want to be buying more stuff because right now I'm doing a lot of window shopping. I'm just too lazy to list and sell. Like and I don't want to sell like Deshaun Watson. I held on until the news was perfect and I sold and got out at pretty much break even, which was tough considering I bought at the early months of 2021 when the market was way hotter. But like I have all these Damian Lillards. Why would I sell those now if this is a horrible time to sell? Wouldn't I want to sell when there's rumors about trades or something like that going on?
Yeah, no, it's tricky. I mean, it depends on the stuff that you're hanging on to. I know that you weren't in much for those, though. I mean, you waited forever, but you're in for very little on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, it's like I'm in maybe $15 to $20 per card, but
yeah.
And I wouldn't mind selling them all at once, just because to use that cash and put that in my reinvest category or in that envelope, so to speak, that would have been fine. It's just, again, listing and then do I really want to sell at break even if I feel like I can get a profit? Maybe. But right now, just my focus is somewhere else.
MSU Collector at 913. Dustin, what's your favorite Breeze card? Brad, do you have a favorite Brady you own? So MSU Collector, I have a lot of Breeze stuff, but about 30% of my whole collection is Tom Brady cards, believe it or not. And he plays for my division rival Bucks. But yeah, I most of my collection is Tom Brady. I did buy a 2006 Topps Chrome Black Refractor SGC 9 yesterday, Breeze. It's numbered out of 199. Is $150. It was. I thought the price point was good. My favorite Breeze card okay. So my favorite Breeze card right now, that could change. And I've showed it on my channel before, but it's a flawless auto. It's a 1-of-1. It's the Panini black box card that they gave out at the National last year. So it's a 1-of-1. Now they have, the flawless Breeze, the same card, but it's out of 5 or 10 or 15 or whatever. This is those, sold at the National type thing, or you can win it at the National or whatever the deal is there. It's a 1-of-1. And that's probably my favorite Breeze card right now.
Good to see you, Shelly. And
hey, Shelly.
Yeah, I did hear you. Okay. So here's the thing. When Tom Brady retired, that was the first time I was like, well, at least I could start looking at some of his cards because I was noticing his prices dropping as they should. Yeah. And then once it was announced he's coming back, I'm like, okay, just add it to the wish list, And I think the Tom Brady downtown, growing up in Tampa and then knowing what the sites and landmarks and everything of Tampa is and seeing Tom Brady with that, I love the downtowns when you know that city. And because I grew up in Tampa, Tom Brady downtown would be the card I would go after. I just don't want to do it right now. Like, again, that's why I want to move all my cards. But at some point, Tom Brady will retire. At some point, he will retire. And I actually have this other ambition to get I was even thinking like one of Donnie B's custom cards of Tom Brady, but then also having that and then one day getting into some sort of group or event or something where I have the privilege of meeting Tom Brady and then he signs the custom card versus buying an autographed Tom Brady card. Because if I buy the autoed Tom Brady card, then it defeats the point of the challenge of one day, maybe this podcast thing takes off. Maybe Tom Brady's sons get into cards and they find our station and you never know, right? You never know. So
you never know.
That's the goal.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to answer this for you, Brendan. I'm going to answer this for Dustin. The answer is yes. The answer is I've noticed Dustin's subs go up, but the fear of rebranding is that they go down, and they definitely did not go down. And now people respect you.
True. That's true. They didn't go down. I guess that's true. You know what, Brendan? I don't really know. I would say it's been pretty consistent. I would say. I mean, I can't really tell. It's not a drastic enough difference to where I can tell. Maybe a slight bump, but I'm not sure. But again, I feel good about it. I think long term it was the right move. So
it was for sure. I mean, 100%. Kevin, that's awesome. Thank you. I just don't know when I'm going to list them. That's the thing is I just don't even think
Brad's too lazy. Brad's too lazy to just email Kevin and just say, here's what I got.
Well, here's the thing. I'm like, to sell if I sell individually, even if it's a couple cards, which I already have, that means I can't sell the entire thing at once because then I'd have to subtract all of these. I'd have to go through everything again and then say, this is what I have. This is what I'd like to do though. Overall is go to a show, maybe that's the National and be like, guys, you see the cards I got. I'm going to bring these cards there. I'm going to set up for a couple hours. I'll get you a good price on anything you see here. My goal is not to make a ridiculous profit. It's really to liquidate and have more money to play the game some more. So that might be a while though.
Fair enough. I mean, at least you bought you bought a lot of Tom Brady. I mean, the players that you picked, you weren't buying a lot of prospects with your stuff, thankfully.
Yeah. That's it.
Not a lot.
No, not at all. It's funny. It's like Tom Brady just keeps going to the point where I actually resent him. Yeah. All right, I'm done with the Super Bowl wins. It's okay. Just retire already because I want to buy your cards now that even a downtown has gone up to $300,000 because now you're way better than even Michael Jordan or the other GOATs in other sports.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, Charles. Good to see you.
Where's Charles at? There it is. Dude, I got to say, man, I've noticed I creep on Charles from afar, but on Instagram, Charles has like the sickest Marvel collection out there. In fact, I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to bring up Charles's Instagram just because I'm like, dude, how in the world do you have half of these cards?
Because he was posting he was posting like a year and a half ago, and I remember looking at him like, oh, those are pretty cool, and then like not doing anything about it like everybody else. And Charles is stacking gems or whatever.
Stacking gems. Yeah, check this out. I mean, it's just like
he's been stacking gems for a while.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, and I don't know what's good because I don't follow this that much, but everything is like pop 2, pop 1, pop 3. But incredible stuff. So if you're into Marvel, check out Charles. And dude, Charles, where were you at Mint? Did you come to Mint? Because I know you live in Vegas. Look at that. Molten vibranium.
I totally forgot that Charles was in Vegas. Yeah, we should have reached out. I totally forgot about that.
You should have reached out, Dustin. What's wrong with you?
I thought you were going to do it.
You know who else we should have seen, but we didn't. And yeah, congrats, dude. I think look at this. He got a couple of autographs from the Zerocool from which we want to discuss real briefly too. But hey, I mean, if you got this for the $2,100 and you're able to sell some of these just based on whatever other people are paying and get a profit or long-term hold, that's pretty cool. But I'm really impressed by this collection right here. Like that is sick. That is sick right there.
Yeah, those PMGs, man, they'll get you.
Yeah. Okay.
Go. Yeah, let's go ahead and run through the Zerocool real quick. The new release coming.
Yeah. How do you say that last name? Fuchs. Okay.
We should just call him Charles Folks.
All right. So here's the thing. We got Zerocool second product. We won't take too much time on this just because I know a lot of people don't really care about Zerocool. But
you mean everyone in the chat's not going to buy this?
I mean, I'm not. Thanks for wanting my PSA 4s Hobby Champs. So let's show what we have going on for Zerocool's second product, and that is Jackass. Okay,
Which,
so now
I'll be honest, I didn't see that coming. Did you see that as the second release?
I did not.
Nothing against it, but I just didn't see that one coming.
So the cool thing about it is that Jackass is at least a brand that we're familiar with. What makes sense the most to me is that when I think who watches Jackass,
Does that say Poopies? Yep.
What's that?
I think it says Poopies. He signed it Poopies.
Poop. Yeah. Well, that's his name, right? It says Poopies under here.
It?
Yeah, I guess that's his name.
Totally missed it.
Yeah, it makes sense for something called Jackass. So what makes sense to me is that Jackass, when I think of the demographic who's watching Jackass, I would imagine mostly white and mostly 18 to 30. And I would imagine like, okay, that demographic is probably close to a big chunk of who's in cards. What doesn't make as much sense is that even though they had a recent movie, that brand, that movie, like that whole Jackass culture was massive, 15 years ago? It was something like 12 to 15 years ago.
Quite a while. I mean, there's definitely a certain demographic for it, for sure.
The box is cool. We saw the box in person. Very cool box. And they did say they want to make the boxes very collectible or displayable as well. What's your take on this?
Okay, so I mean, it definitely has a following. I don't have any interest in it. I feel like a release for like Impractical Jokers would be popular, because it's like it's similar. It's comedy, but it's more like my kids watch it. My 10-year-old watches Impractical Jokers and knows exactly, who they all are and all that stuff. I don't know. I just feel like they're maybe more relevant to the current audience. I do think obviously they have fans, but there's 10,000 boxes they're making of this. Is that right?
Yeah. So we were going to guess the price. So actually, guys, this would be kind of cool. If you want to put your guess for how much you think what's a double blind Dutch auction will go for, because, and to compare VeeFriends right here, I have it pulled up. It went for $2,100. And this is something that we're not familiar with. Obviously Gary Vee has his NFTs, and this is based off of his NFTs. So that's the level of familiarity you have with this. After that, you have no idea. But there's only 800 boxes in circulation, 1,000 altogether. and this was the very first product of Zerocool, which, if you believe that this is going to be such a massive brand 5 years from now because it's Fanatics' official non-sports card name, then it has the value of the first ever product from Fanatics. So this went for $2,100 with what, a tenth of the population, something like that. What's your guess for this?
I think it's going to be, I'm going to guess $225 a box.
Yeah. I mean, we have a couple guesses here. $325. Yeah.
I kind of wonder, I feel like there's going to be a certain amount of people that are just riding this wave of new Zerocool stuff. And there's going to be a certain number. Now, how many are they going to buy? The one thing that's interesting, though, is you remember, I think they let you buy like 40 boxes or something. Like they let you buy a lot if you want it. So it's like there's 10,000 boxes, which is a lot. But if somebody buys, I mean, if whales come in and buy 40 boxes, they might sell it out for, a higher price. But I don't know. I'm gonna say 225.
Yeah, honestly, my guess is a lot lower, and the reason why is because it's not the first product. So whoever bought it because it's Zerocool's first product, bought the Gary V boxes, that's not going to apply here. I don't think Zerocool's second ever product is going to really matter. Jackass, I think the interesting thing is that there are guys in their 30s and maybe 40s that remember Jackass. So there's a bit of a nostalgic value, but it's not. Like, to me, I don't care to buy that, and I wouldn't pay very much. I mean, to me, like personally, if I had a chance to buy it, like, hey, what would you pay for it? What's the most? I would go like $100, $125 because I just don't care, and I'd keep it. Yeah. I'd keep it unopened, and I just wouldn't even care because.
Yeah, I think the majority of these people are going to be flippers / investors holding. It's not. I just don't think there's going to be a ton of Jackass fans that are buying all this stuff.
No, well, the thing is, the brand Jackass peaked so long ago. The interesting thing with V Friends is that we don't know if Gary V has it's like you never want to question someone with that level of ambition and resources, but the fact that he could be talking to a Nickelodeon about turning this into a cartoon, right? And then all of a sudden, the stupid little drawing has a cartoon, which then goes to a movie, which then has merchandise, then has a video game, then becomes the next Harry Potter. So it's missing a storyline, but that could always be created. So I think the upside of Gary V's and actual drawings, we don't know. It could be massive. Jackass, I feel like we've already seen it come and go. So my guess would be
Gary V, you're buying an influencer. You're buying a piece of, it'd be like if Logan Paul put, drawings, you're buying into the Logan Paul brand, just like you're buying into the Gary V brand. Whatever the hell is on the cards is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah. I mean, to me, there's a lot of boxes. I know they have a new movie. I would go with 200 to 250. I don't see it going for much more because I just don't think it's that. I don't think the cards look amazing. I think they look fine, but it's nothing that I would say like, wow, that's worth a lot. So we'll see.
Yeah, go back to David's question at 925.
Got to do the math here. Yeah, there we go. What was your take on the video?
I thought it was awesome. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I wish there was more. I think this is something that, Brad and I had nothing but time. I would love to do comedy type stuff, more of that type of stuff. We've talked about a lot of different ideas, but obviously only so much time in the day. This isn't our full-time job, and I think that would be a lot of fun. I really liked it. I liked how there was a twist. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing for me. I go, holy crap, this was so thought through, so many pieces, the storyline. I mean, this was like a ridiculous production. And I was thinking to myself, man, if there was a group of people, like a great storyteller, great actors, great editors, all this, and they had the funding, I think that kind of content on a consistent basis that is based on comedy, based on what's it called, like impersonations, that kind of stuff of the entire hobby, that would be a huge YouTube station. But for that level of work, I mean, that would take a lot of the most talented people getting together and doing it for basically free, or if a company decides to fund them. But I was like, that is incredible content, whether you like it or not. I like anything self-deprecating. So to me, it was good.
Yeah, I think those are my favorite Jeff Wilson videos. The was it Lonzo Ball or LaMelo Ball? Was it Lonzo? Is Lonzo Ball, and then this last one. He's also done kind of like he did like an office style commercial, type thing. If he ran a camera around his office and did like the office type show and did something like that, obviously a ton of work and a ton of production. And I don't know if it'd be worth it for them to do it. But whether it's Jeff Wilson or if it's at PSA or if it's at SGC or whoever wants to do it, if you're a company in the hobby and you're like, what kind of content could we create? Any sort of comedic, the office type stuff would be awesome.
I just saw this PFD error card.
That would be incredible. That would be hilarious.
They're talking about content creator Zerocool sets. I see
people joking about different content creator cards, and I see other people like, I'm leaving the hobby if they do a content creator set.
Hey man, you only need a few people to be on board, so that's fine.
Hey, we'll get you on board at some point. What is the great one? We'll get you on there at some point. Just too many dweebs in the hobby looking for a hero. Okay.
Hey, that's cool. What else we got to talk about? Logan Paul, right? Speaking of influencers.
Well, and so Brad and I at Mint Collective, what it's called Liquid Marketplace. We met with them, we talked to them. They did not mention anything about Logan Paul while we were there. I talked to one of the big investors, not Logan Paul, and then also I think one of their tech guys, was telling me about it, and I was like, interesting stuff. But yeah, I didn't think anything of it until it popped up that Logan Paul is behind it, and that makes it more interesting. I know a lot of people are kind of like, blah, 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 Logan Paul, Drake, we don't care. But the reality is if they really start putting effort into promoting to the 25, 50, 100 million followers that they've got for these things, that's a pretty big deal. Gary Vee has a few million subs. These guys have multiples of that.
Yeah, Logan Paul has about twice as many as Gary Vee. The other difference between Drake and Logan Paul versus Gary Vee is that a lot of people that are following Gary Vee are doing it for side hustles and for entrepreneurship. A lot of people that follow Drake and Logan Paul, I believe, are just fans of their music or fans of their content, and they wouldn't be getting in necessarily to learn how to make money or flip or anything like that. I think it'd be more of to buy. Now, there was a comment, I think on my Instagram, where I forgot who said it, but someone said, why do people hate on Logan Paul? Because he's young and makes all this money. And I was like, yeah, I think it's just a lot of it. It's envy and jealousy because this guy's young and he's crushing it and he has a great life. But then there was a comment that said, but what about the pump and dump and da-da-da? And that's a legit concern of anyone of influence, period, is, with great power comes great responsibility. Is he going to launch this and then all of a sudden put his own products there and then hype it up just to get out? And I know one of the products he's starting with on Liquid Marketplace was one of his own. It's like I don't mind. I guess it's like I don't mind that. I'm just curious, like, are you going to be in the media and on your page talking about how great it is as you sell it? Because it's kind of weird to say how great something is if you are selling it and that's your only one. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's all in the details. The devil's in the details, as they say. Yeah, so it'll just be kind of how he operates, and what type of partnership is it? And that's the part I don't really know. Is he kind of more of is he a spokesman or is he a big investor? That's the part I don't really know.
Yeah, and what I actually had here, let's see here. So these were a few of the first items, and this was the only thing that said Logan Paul's something of his. I don't know about these other cards. PSA 8 Pikachu Illustrator. I know he has the PSA 10.
Right,
I don't know if this is his.
Right, exactly. I don't know that either. I thought on one of the ads that all that stuff was his, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just the box.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So it's founded by two others and Logan Paul. I don't know if it's 50% control. I don't know if Logan Paul is like, look, I'll be the marketer because that is really his natural role. He's not going to be behind a computer entering code or any of that. It's more like, let me do a couple of videos on it. Let me market it. Let me work out some partnerships with other people. And this will be my role. And maybe he wants 50%, maybe he wants 80%. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see. I think the good thing overall is just the fact that he is serious in the cards, whether it's more of the business side, but I like to think he likes to collect the Pokemon cards himself. And if he could bring others into the hobby and introduce them, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I see comments. I've seen multiple comments of, speakers, actors, influencers could be a top signal. I think what they're referring to is like, this is kind of the calm before the crash, the big crash. I don't know. I guess I just don't. I kind of look at this industry as more of ups and downs, and there's going to be waves, but it's not, to me, I don't really see it going anywhere. So I don't know where the top signal, I don't know. Like, I mean, if you mean like it'll never get back to these price points again, maybe not. I don't know. But I think that making a call on it being a top signal, you probably could have said the same thing a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I mean, who knows? I don't know.
See, I mean, sports cards are based on athletes with actual talent, but there are a lot of actors that are way better at acting than athletes are at their own sport. And I mean, when I think of the last 35 years of life and what I've watched, I look at my $2 Simpson card and be like, oh man, that is better than 95% of the athletes that I've bought in on, because the Simpsons have lasted decades. Leonardo DiCaprio, Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as an actor, not as a football player at Miami, but those are cards I want more than most athletes. There are only a few athletes that I go, all right, you've lasted a couple decades and I've followed you and I know you as a person enough to want to invest in you or collect you. But yeah, for me, I want more of the celebrities, the artists, because they've entertained me for a lot longer.
Yeah.
GD, Zerocool has been bad for the hobby. I mean,
they just got started. So let's, based on what, 20 years of history in the, they've been around for about 5 minutes. So let's just, how are they bad? I mean, and it's okay. You can have an opinion on it, but I guess it's just, they just got started. And I don't have Zerocool cards. I don't really care that much about it, but it's just,
he's getting paid on the inside. On the inside.
Finally, those Zerocool checks are finally hitting.
Yeah. Lots of zeros. GD, I'm upset at you because you didn't put Dustin the grazing cow, personal grazing cow, as the comments. So I need for you to put one of those down.
After my response to him, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of emojis.
Yeah, just a lot of cow emojis, please. And I did see Logan Paul. I saw some of him at WrestleMania. I didn't watch WrestleMania, but I saw the highlights. I was like, this guy is an athlete. This guy is pretty damn good. I was
surprised by that too. For a guy that's just like rolling in money, like doesn't have a job. His job is to make content and all the stuff he does. Yeah, he's actually in good shape and is athletic. Yeah, I was like, wow.
And here's something interesting.
Same with Pat McAfee. Did you see Pat McAfee?
When?
Do you know who I'm talking about? He's the ex-Colts punter who now runs he's got a big YouTube station, talk sports. But no, he was at WrestleMania 2 and he was a beast. I was like, what?
I didn't see that. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, check out Pat McAfee after this.
One interesting thing is that a lot of cards have come down a ton this year, or 2021, I should say. 2021 was like a massive cooling off from pretty much a year ago up until now. But I think the overall hobby is growing. So even if the prices per card are a lot lower, that's okay if more people are interested in entering breaks or collecting or investing or whatever else. And so I think it's almost like we had a massive surge 2020. Last year was an exhale, and this year is another rising up, but not rising up in terms of prices going through the roof, but more of just, okay, this is spreading, big partnerships, bigger expansion, stuff like that.
One thing I've noticed too at card shows, if I'm just looking at my local Raleigh show, and also just other shows going back to a year and a half ago, I guess about a year ago when they started back, there was a lot more of I just feel like a lot of money moved from the base stuff. And this is not anything brand new to anybody, but it moved to more of anything with more rarity. And that's not necessarily just those high end cards. That's a lot of cards. It could be numbered inserts, numbered this, numbered that. There's a lot of numbered stuff out there. And I just feel like I go to Raleigh Card Show now, and it's a bunch of Hall of Fame autos, patch autos. It's like Hakeem Olajuwon, patch auto. That's stuff that I didn't see, a year ago. It was Luka Doncic, Prism base, PSA 10. And that's the stuff that was being moved around, Zion base or whatever. And now it's just a lot more of the, the insert and auto stuff. It's just shifted.
Well, yeah. So, yeah. And I would say Gary Vee had the biggest impact on a demographic entering the hobby, including myself. I listened to him in late 2019 talk about this, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I pushed it aside for a couple months until I heard it again and again and again. And then I finally researched it about a month before COVID began. But again, that demographic is, all right, flippers, investors. It's not the collector that would be hearing that message from Gary Vee. Like the average person wouldn't be the collector. It would be, hey, there's an opportunity to make a side hustle out of this, which I'm okay with. Like, to me, that's fine. That's what I was doing alongside the content. But that's why I'm excited, because it's not like all these side hustlers are following Drake and Logan Paul. They're all mixed in with normal people that are just fans. So for me, that's cool. The other thing I got to say is I think it was Tampa Sports Card Show. Or it was Tampa Sports. What's their Instagram? Stall for a couple seconds, Dustin.
Ben for Bobcats. Yeah, I am in the Raleigh area, and if you talk to if you talk to Chris, sports card collector or baseball card collector, investor, dealer, I was at the show with him. So yeah, we just must have missed each other because I was with him at that show.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks for stalling. This was cool. I saw this just the other day, and by other day I mean this morning or yesterday. Chris Godwin of the Bucks visiting Tampa Card Shop. So I thought that was really sweet to see more athletes get in, check out different cards. And what's interesting about this is that when we went into a different card shop, they were talking. I was with Andy at the time. This was early 2021. And they actually had mentioned Chris Godwin. They said, yeah, Chris Godwin is a collector as well. He's come in before, whatever. And then now to see a post like this, I'm like, hey, we want more athletes in for sure. Not pumping and dumping, but genuinely being interested in their cards, their other cards. And so that's really cool to see.
That is cool. Yeah, I saw that on IG as well.
Okay, what else we got?
What's next on the list?
How can anyone be serious with Zerocool, says GD. Let's see. First year WWE Prism. So Ryan, that's not my thing, but I know you're the vintage guy.
GD, so GD, I still have quite a bit of Top Shot stuff. I'm still looking at Top Shot I'm still going to hold on to that stuff for a while. And I know it went up, but I know it came down. But definitely not on the take for Zerocool, but I hold on to stuff over a period of time. So I want to see how stuff does over time. Mm. I know a lot of people are kind of like, they look at a 1 year span or 2 year span, and they call that like, here's what's happened in the market. Well, I mean, I'm okay just sitting on a lot of stuff. So that's that. But I'm not sitting on any Zerocool yet.
That's a figure of speech, right?
Yeah, not actually sitting on it.
Okay. I know some people, that's where they store their cards.
Look, if they come out with an Impractical Jokers release, I'll try to bid on it. A box, I think those guys are hilarious, and that's just kind of a unique set that I would be interested in. Yep.
Okay. What's interesting about this is the WWE. I've not been interested in wrestling since I was a kid, but I used to be a huge fan as a kid. I mean, I think it was around when Randy Orton was getting big and Bautista was getting big is when I left, because I was in my teen years, right when they were entering. But The Rock, Triple H, NWO, DX. I mean, DX was massive. All that stuff is huge. And now, as I see more, Logan Paul in WrestleMania, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I hear more wrestling references. I'm like, don't do it, Brad. Don't get wrapped up into wrestling, because it's such good storylines. Because again, it's all about. It can't really be boring because it's always about the backstory. That I'm like, don't do it, Brad. You got to be more productive than that. But a part of me does want to go back to watching wrestling just because it was so fun as a kid, and you get lost in these massive, bigger than life dudes with these crazy characters. I think is that I saw the Undertaker retire, and he's been doing his thing. I guess he was in the Wrestling Hall of Fame, and I think he has a docuseries or a documentary out as well. And I just start thinking, like, man, the Undertaker as a kid, he was
Right.
What a crazy character that was.
Yep. Ultimate Warrior, Hulk. It was actually WWF when I was watching it, and I haven't watched it really since.
I remember that campaign that was "Get the F Out." When they transitioned to WWE, it was "Get the F Out." That was their campaign. In terms of the product right now, my rule of thumb is always at first it's going to be most expensive. But I've also heard, which makes a lot of sense, is if you buy the singles and they're the parallels, they're the numbered cards at first, that's when you might find a better deal. Maybe it's worth, I don't know if you could prospect in wrestling. Can you buy wrestlers that you think will get a bigger stage?
Yeah, that's a good point. Are there like prospects, or is it just all the the goats or the big names? I don't know. I guess you could, like, up and coming wrestlers that end up being the next John Cena or whatever it is. Yeah, man,
In fact, if you guys know the wrestling world, is there prospecting in wrestling the same way as other sports? And if so, or if not, what's the difference? Because I would imagine there's a degree of it, but to me, that'd be pretty cool if there's a character you really like and you just said, man, I think he could be on a bigger stage. He has a lot of charisma. He's very athletic, or he has such a unique character. But,
Michael Stone at 9:45. Any of your kids wrestling fans, Dustin? Well, they like to try to wrestle me. Not exactly watching on TV, but man, you got to sleep with one eye open. When you've got 4 kids, you watch your back. Yeah, they're always trying to jump on me and whatever. Actually, just earlier, I was just ambushed. So yeah, they're wrestling fans, but not necessarily on TV.
Yeah, and completely unrelated in a way. They're watering down the market. We've seen this before, G.I. Joe, ET cards. Here's the thing. If I'm hearing the word WWE a lot right now, then it's probably going up in price, and it's a new product and all of this. But we heard Formula One, F1 so many times too.
But how much too is it? I'm not trying to cut you off. I did cut you off. But I think I have a more important take.
Okay.
How much of this, though, is the fact that we just don't have any other product? Brad and I, we were going to talk about, like, Prism foot. The NFL draft is in 3 weeks. We don't have Prism football. We don't have a Trevor Lawrence Silver Prism. And when we do see it, the draft is already going to be over. They're going to have a whole new draft class. So how much of this is just like people are like, oh God, okay, we'll take it, like whatever,
Yeah. Well, that's a great point. And I'm going to pull up the calendar just so we can see what's coming up in the next couple of months. But we were looking at it thinking that next week, because I was thinking next week was the big week. It's actually middle of May that we're getting a lot of the stuff. So if you're not familiar with cardboardconnection.com, they have a great new release calendar, and I'm just going to share it right now.
Who's the one wrestler that has the reality show? I think it's like the Mans or the Mons.
The Miz?
The Miz, yes.
Interesting thing about The Miz, I was a huge fan of The Real World. That was the OG reality show.
And he was on it, right?
That's where I learned about, his name's Mike. Mike, I forgot what his last name was, but I remember he went into this character called The Miz on Real World, and he was talking about how his goal was to become a professional wrestler. And I think 2 years later, he got signed to their development program or somewhere in WWE. But it was really cool to literally watch this guy in character at throughout Real World, get to know him, and then actually see that platform catapult him to the WWE. And he was Logan Paul's teammate at WrestleMania. And I was like, man, that is cool. Like, one reality star to another, in a sense. One guy's a reality star turned wrestler. The other one is a huge influencer, but came from doing it all on his own to then building a massive brand. So
how much of the two is like, and I'm asking, I guess, people in the chat that buy wrestling cards, how are the female wrestlers more popular than the male wrestlers nowadays? Or is it the same, or is it more the male wrestlers? Or is it like, is the vintage stuff more popular than the newer stuff? Like, I know there's like 80s Hulk Hogan stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would imagine male is more popular. Okay.
It's weird. I know I shared, I buy NASCAR cards, and the female NASCAR drivers are a lot more expensive than the male drivers. And I don't know if it's just they have limited cards, and maybe that's why. And it's interesting.
That makes sense to me, is that just the numbers are much lower. Anything sticking out to you between now and the rest of April? We have, what's today, by the way? It's April 6th, so I'm not even here, right? April 6th.
I mean, I guess Revolution basketball is at the end of April. I like Revolution basketball stuff.
Star Wars Masterwork. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, Brad and I are not really new. Yeah, we're not new product guys.
I will say, I always liked the look of Phoenix. It just never caught on or was never a big set, but I always liked the look. I thought it was unique and it was flashy. And I guess some of the cards, the Buccaneer player ones, look better because they had more of an orange-red look, the ones I saw at least. But again, yeah, if it's new product, I'm like, I don't even want to mess with it just because I'm assuming the prices are going to be ridiculous, and I'd rather just not. But anything else?
Nah. Garbage Pail Kids, let's go. Garbage Pail Kids goes on vacation. All right. Anyway.
Yeah. Nothing here. But if you take a look at next month, so this is the month where if you're on a budget now or you want to save up for something that you really like, take a look at May. We have Court Kings, the National Treasures football. So that's going to be huge. I don't know what Bundesliga. Yeah, I've heard that word Bundesliga. I'm not a soccer guy. So that's
National Treasures football. The day. Yeah. Okay. So May 4th.
May 11th, guys. This is going to be a big day. Look at this. May 11th, Crown Royal Basketball, Diamond Kings Baseball, Mosaic Soccer, Prism Football, Draft Kings Football, Select. That Select's going to be the big one. Yeah. Prism's going to be big. And that's all on 1 week. And then the 18th, 1 week later, Obsidian, Select Baseball. So the soccer stuff comes out. Finest Stadium Club and Flawless Football. Okay. So we got a big May.
And this year, I actually will try to go to if I'm in a Walmart or a Target, I actually will see if there's cards, because I mean the last 2 years you couldn't really do that. I'll be curious just to see if there's anything laying around on the retail side, like Prism Football or Select Football. Be cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know you'll probably be at Walmart overnight, right, Brad? Probably
dude. I don't even drive if I don't have to. I literally walk within a square mile to go everywhere. And the nearest store like that would be a Target, and they don't have any cards. I've never seen them have cards there. A Walmart, I think the nearest one would be probably 5 miles away. But here in LA, it's like, all right, 45-minute drive. And what are the odds that in a city of 8 million, I'm going to be able to actually get retail?
Yeah, probably a waste.
Yeah, I mean, the odds are just against it.
He's going to beat you there. All those LA guys, Coleman will be out there.
Yeah, I'll see Coleman at the Walmart. I'll have to what's it? Not flatten his tires. What's the cooler way of saying that? Flash his tires. Slowly flatten.
And it would be his bike tires because nobody drives. Everyone's too green. No one's driving.
Well, yeah, and I talked to Coleman. We saw him. Did you see him at Mint Collective?
Yeah, I saw him briefly.
Very briefly. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, he's been doing good things. Anyway. Anything else on your mind, man? We've had a great week, personally, professionally. I launched Card Life, which I mentioned at the beginning. A video will be coming out tomorrow on that. We're gonna have more guests coming on soon. Our professional podcast, which will be shot at SoFi, produced by Dustin. I'll be hosting it, and our partner will be funding it, producing it. All that stuff will be coming out in a couple of weeks, and we got really cool businesses popping up too. I think from Mint Collective, from what we heard from the Sports Cards Nonsense guys, just a lot of people creating some great businesses. So maybe what we'll do, and this is a thought we're having, so let us know in the comments if you like this, but if there are a couple of businesses, new startups that we could feature all on one episode, like 10-minute rotations, 15-minute rotations, just for them to hop on and talk about their business, if that's something that you would watch or not.
And if there's any that you want to learn more about, any sort of startup in the hobby right now, or you wouldn't mind hearing from one of their reps or the CEO or whatever, well, that's kind of what we're talking about. I did book my hotel for the National. I'm bunking with Flippin' Steve, so I'll be there. I'm going solo. So, and Brad, you're not staying with us.
I wasn't even invited. Wasn't even invited.
Nope.
You deserved a remove. Dustin deserved that.
Are you coming to
you
the
basically did that to me with your hotel room.
Dude, it's so expensive. I just latched on to whatever we could do. Are you going to go to the National, or what are you thinking?
So here's the thing. I think I have to go to the National. It is the exact opposite side of the country.
Yeah. It's kind of like me going to the Mint Collective. You kind of have to.
Well, here it is. I feel like I have to go, but from what we're doing with the podcast and the other stuff, I know that the Mint Collective was way more productive from in the industry behind the scenes way, while the National would be more of the experience and meeting people that are in the hobby every day, like the average collector, the people that have been following us and connecting with us. So that's what I'd want to do. But from a productive standpoint, I think the Mint Collective was best. And it was a 4-hour drive versus a 5-hour flight. And yeah, but I'll probably go.
Well, we'll put it out there to the chat. If anyone's going to be in Atlantic City, you got a couch that Brad can rent. That would be ideal.
Scott Allen, not a fan of gas prices or the current presidents. Hey man, gas is about $7 to $8 here. I've seen it $8 here, so that's why I walk everywhere. But yeah, I'll probably go to the National if someone has a room to spare at the hotel, like an extra bed. Let me know.
Brad's got a hostel, like the Scary Movie hostel. It's going to be interesting.
It will. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us, and stay tuned for the next live stream, I guess. I guess that's a thing to say when you sign off, right?
Oh, don't forget about the MySlabs stuff.
Aha. Yes, we got to make our money. See you guys. Thanks.
All right.
The platform designed by collectors for collectors just got even better. MySlabs.com is proud to now feature dedicated sections for both raw cards and raw comic books. Browse over 100,000 slab collectibles, authenticated by the industry's most trusted grading companies. Then check out a massive selection of sealed wax and now raw singles and raw lots. Join a passionate, no-nonsense community of nearly 50,000 members and enjoy some of the best buyer and seller protection in the business. And as always, MySlabs offers one of the most disruptive pricing models in the hobby, with seller fees as low as only 1%. So the next time you're forced to pay 10%, 20%, or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabs.com, the low-fee marketplace by collectors for collectors.